What's up, guys? It is me, Mad Samurai 84, and it is a new year. 2024 is upon us. We have 3 games for PS Plus to play through, to talk about, to score. I hope everyone enjoyed their end of 2023, played their December games all the way through, ready for January's games, and so far January has started off very well. From the just looking at the games, it looks interesting. 2 that I know and 1 I don't know. All the games were released in 2022, which isn't bad. Everything is under 2 years old. There's nothing over 2 years old, which is damn fine. Now, I've played through the games, and basically I'm just going to say what I did like, what I didn't like, give a little spiel, this and that, have a little rant, and then I'm going to give thumb scores. I'm going to give one thumb score of my game score, and another thumb score is an offering score where I think it was a good offering. And yeah, I've played through them all. I try to play roughly between, depending on how I go through the game, 2 to 5, maybe even more if a game kind of really grips me. But yeah, that's why sometimes these take longer, because I get really into it and I start playing it, and then this and that. But anyway, we've got 3 games to play. I've played through them, and yeah, let's talk about them. So our first title for January 2024 is Nobody Saves the World. Now, this originally came out in Jan 2022, but it didn't come to the PS5 until April 2022. This is a action role-playing dungeon crawler, as it says on its wiki. But at first glance, it's very easy to just dismiss this game. It's not until that when you start playing it, it begins to kind of like suck you in with its awesome characters and world. Its gameplay is quite simple, but yeah, it has like so much depth in it. The controls are great, and they keep things nice and clean. There isn't any performance issues. I think this is probably not a game for everyone, because everyone might not play it, but it's a game that everyone really can play. I think I've said that to one of the past games, but I feel like it's one of those. You start off the game, waking up in a room as the hero, Nobody, to find out the land has been engulfed with monsters, and you set yourself out to get rid of the evil that has taken over. You just had enough, and you want to basically sort things out. You find out that you can transform into like many number of different characters, animals, and stuff, like different forms basically, and they all have like different moves, skills to unlock, and like this is the main gameplay feature, and it is like a very rewarding one. It is, because each form has a different set of like mini tasks, whether it be like kill X enemies with X attack and so on and so forth. But by completing these tasks, you gain XP for that form, and that unlocks like more attacks, and also leading to unlocking different forms. I recently unlocked an egg, which I have no idea what I'll be doing with that, but I guess I'll find out when I go back into it and play it. Yeah, I was a bit like, oh, okay, I gotcha. But this is a very fun game. I do plan on keeping it installed until I finished it, because I've been enjoying so much of it. And what I kind of really like is the design. Really, they've put a nice splash of color on the screen, and they've given it this interesting cartoon look to it, and everything is lovely animated, and they've just made things look gross and cool and nice, and the level design is great. It's something you really have to see it to and play it to really appreciate it. I feel like it is one of those things, and yeah, it's a nice little ARPG. DC? Were we going that way? I'm not too sure. I think so. But when we look at its Metacritic on the PS5, it sits at a 76, which, yeah, I get that. Yeah. I think it's got much higher scores. It's got lower scores, depending if it's your jam. Its user score sits at a 7.5, and yeah, I've got no. I can't say yeah, I disagree with that, or yeah, I think that should be anything more, or anything less. You know, beggars can't be choosers, but also it's a preference really. But I see that it's that good score where you have to play it. I can see it getting 8s and 9s and stuff if it's your jam. But yeah, so far I've just been really enjoying this game. A hell of a lot of fun. So if I had to give my thumb scores, what would I go with my game score? Well, this one kind of like hit me out of left field. I didn't expect to kind of enjoy it as much, and I think with all the forms you unlock, and they're all quite interesting. They all do different things, and they actually all kind of like, so far I've been required to kind of use them because they all have their uses for different things, and it's actually just a super solid game that I've been really enjoying. So I think with a game score, I have to give it a 3/4 of a thumb up, and also it just looks great as well. It just looks nice, and I don't think it's like terribly long, so you'll be able to play through it and have a lot of fun. And there is actually quite a bit of it kind of starts off a bit easy, but there is a bit of challenge to it as you go along, which is quite nice. Now, for my offering score, what would I go? Well, it is technically, from being originally released, it is 2 years old now, but from the PS5, it's a bit under that. It's 20 months old. I think this is a good one. I think I've seen the box, the image of it on the store somewhere, but I've just never looked at it or glanced at it. So I think this is actually a really good offering, and I think a lot of people will actually play it and go, oh, you know what, this is great. This is actually a nice, fun game to start off the year. I think it's a good first billing, really, to start you off with the new year, is with a nice solid game that looks nice and plays nice. So I'm going to go with an offering score of a 3/4 of a thumb up for Nobody Saves the World, because I think it's great, really. It's a game I think a lot of people will enjoy, and a lot of people will hopefully play through and not put down. They play it through to the end, because I know it's something I want to play through to the end, because I'm having a lot of fun with it, and it's just a pleasure to look at. Now, our second title for January PS Plus is Evil West. This came out in November 2022, so literally a year and a bit old, really. 14 months old, nothing like that. But I have to say, for some reason, I thought this was a first-person shooter. I don't know why. I thought it was. I'm obviously getting it confused with something else. But I have to say, I was slightly disappointed when I realised it wasn't. But the game is far from a disappointment. I have to say, it is far from a disappointment. This is like one of those games you'll probably never buy it unless it is kind of like given to you. But when you actually play it, you actually kind of like slightly enjoy it. While it has a rather like familiar and repetitive kind of like gameplay, the story itself is solid, and then you chuck in a bunch of like decent characters in a Wild West setting, and you kind of add vampires and monsters into it, and we have something that's rather playable, I think. On the graphics side, the things in game, not the greatest, rather. It does look a bit dull in some areas, probably on some textures, low res. This on your surroundings, it can looks a bit like, ugh, okay. But what is great is looking out like at the vista backgrounds. They're just, some of them are just like ones I've seen, just wonderful. They look great, and the actual kind of like level structure and stuff. And design is actually quite good. They've made it like a very nice looking Wild West. The cutscenes, because there's plenty of cutscenes, they look decent. They have this like, I don't know how to say it. It's this horrible like muddy grainy filter on it, which I don't know. I assume it's to try to give some sort of like cinematic look. But it just kind of makes them look lower quality to me personally. I see it, I'm like, oh, why is that? Why can't it be a bit cleaner image? I don't know. Another pet peeve I noticed is when you have all these NPC characters like around like the levels and stuff, and they talk to you in game, and their mouths don't move. That is just a bit poor in today's age. I think I don't see why you see they're just there and their mouths don't move. Come on, guys, get better. But they have some great character models, and they kind of the actual design in the characters actually looks really cool. But when in game, the NPC models, whether in the background or main, they can look a bit ropey. They can, when you see them, then you look at them, they kind of face can look a bit like, oh god, someone's had an accident. And the enemy models range from looking trashed half decent. The kind of grunt ones, they look a bit like, what the heck is that? Kind of, yeah, weird. Kind of look, and when you get a closer look, you're like, ugh, okay. They're chucking like a half decent upgrading system. That you can add some like fun new features to your arsenal, but having to look everywhere for gold and stuff, it can be rather tedious to upgrade certain parts, and the leveling up feels like it takes a while to kind of gain levels. It feels like, but the combat is something that becomes rather repetitive. And it isn't until you kind of like, it gets better when you get more weapons and upgrades, where it pivots from being that kind of repetitive to being slightly enjoyable, because you can like mix and match and change up your attack of how you're doing, which is quite good. I have also noticed numerous like dips in the frame rate throughout the game. Really, just like goes alright, and you see it kind of chugs along and then kind of goes back up for certain parts. One thing that did bug me is when you like see enemies in like because they like have like battle areas really where you kind of fight the bad guys, and that's really where they are. And if you actually see them in the distance, or when I've noticed on one when I've kind of like left it and all these enemies came and they're all there, and I can't go back down there, and they're just like there. But you try like fire at them or whatever, and it does nothing. I'm like, okay, that's a bit rubbish. I don't really like that. So you can really engage with them when you're in that little enclosed space, that little battle, and also when you see some of these enemies and in those areas, and they kind of do movements, and it looks like they're doing some weird kind of 15 frames per second movements. Really, it's really like not smooth at all. It's like really like tuk 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 tuk. Yeah, it's definitely odd. But this is definitely is a game worth a playthrough. But I'm not sure if I could push myself to go through the platinum trophy of this game. When I was looking at it, I'm like, I'll do the simple playthrough. I'll do this and that, but I'm not doing that. No, thank you. But when you look at its Metacritic, it sits quite nice, really. There's no PS4 score. PS5 sits at a 73, which is good. I get that completely. When you look at its user scores, PS4 sits at an 8.1 and PS5 sits at a 7.2, and that 7-8 mark, yep, I get it. It's if you like it, you like it. It kind of had that little feeling of what was it? Is it Vampire? Really? Which is also kind of done by Focus Entertainment, different dev team, but I'm pretty sure that's Focus Entertainment as well. This kind of had a little thing like this, but where that was slightly more of like an open kind of open world, if you want to call it. This is very confined to level by level basis, really, which is a little bit meh. But I think it's probably better for the game for it to be a level by level basis, because you go to so many different places. But what would I give it as for thumb scores? Well, game score, I was tossing up between a thumb and a half and a 3/4 thumb up. But after kind of like jumping back in and playing it for a little bit more, I kind of go, you know what, this is pretty fun. I'm having a lot of fun. I like the setting. It's very cool. Got some cool weapons, some cool characters. So go with a 3/4 thumb up for Evil West. It is decent enough, really. It is nice. And saying that, games I give fun in the middle, they're still fun, really. But yeah, I've been enjoying it. It's definitely a game I'm going to be playing through. And for my offering score, well, it's about 14 months old, so, and we got something that's it's pretty decent, really. It's not a bad game. It's a good game. Still a bit bummed that it's not a first-person shooter like I thought it was. I don't know why. I'm definitely getting it mixed up with something else, but I feel like it's a good offering. Definitely brings people in to play it, and a nice way to start off the year, I think. So I'm going to go with a 3/4 thumb up as my offering score. Really got a 14-month-old game, and I think it's like another game that's kind of like at the right billing on the month. Really, that's a good game to get as a second game. So done well so far, I think. Now, to cap off the new year, they have given us A Plague's Tale Requiem. It's a double bubble from Focus Entertainment for this month. This is a action adventure stealth game, it says on Wiki. And when I started to play this, I realised that I had never got round to finishing the first one, A Plague's Tale Innocence. So I can safely say that I have finished it and I have platinumed that one. And that has really helped get me even more excited for playing Requiem. But it also gives me a good base of how to judge this one, as they have actually made some changes, whether they are for the good or for the bad, really. What made playing the first game such a joy and was quite wonderful, quite amazing, was the excellent soundtrack, really making you feel what is happening on screen. And you know what I have to say, they have done it again. They have really managed to mold this sound in this game, where you have to play it to really appreciate it. It's actually amazing what they've done. They've really done very well with their sound design. But with this one, you carry on the story of the brother and sister Hugo and I'm gonna butcher the name, Amicia. I'm saying it wrong. And they're on the search for a cure for Hugo's illness, and it's set in the 14th century, while they're dealing with the Black Plague and even more rats. So that's kind of just the basis of the story, really. Not going into much, really. It's just a follow-on, really. And that I have to say, there has been a slight noticeable graphics upgrade to the from the first, where it's not the best on the system, but it's up there. It looks really, really good. What they have done so well in these games is the attention to detail and design of every aspect. It really makes you feel like you're in 14th century France, or in that kind of Europe part, and it's actually looks really good. Just the level design, the character designs, all the NPCs, everything, all the little bits and bits of stuff. You go oh wow, that's done really, really good. But I have to say, the thing I really thought was off about the graphics But then I did a quick Google and it told me to turn the chromatic effect on, because that was on like full or whatever. But when you turn it off, it kind of takes this little kind of slight crap dust that it seemed like to be on the image, and it just took it off, and it just looked much nicer and cleaner. Because I was like, what's wrong with it? Something looks right. And I kind of Googled it. They went, oh yeah, take this effect off. So I did, and I was like, oh, that's better. The other noticeable change from the first to the second game is the crouch button. It might not seem much, but it went from being the square button to probably more of a natural circle button. I definitely find that little change is better than the next one. I have seen is, yeah, I'm not sure about it really. That one, it's small with the crouch, but it worked. But in this one, I'm not sure. Is the weapon wheel and ammo creation, because I found it fine in the first one, though maybe slightly annoying mid-fighter escape when you go like, oh, I've got none of this, I need to create this. It kind of becomes a little bit fuddly-duddly. Still not sure if they made it better or a bit more confusing. As in a sense, it was just like simple but effective in a way. Here you have to do more of a hot swap on your weapon wheel, really, of this and that, so not too sure. But the overall controls are great, just like the first one. The first one I thought it was great. This one probably slightly tightened it up, made it a bit more better, really. So they've done very, very well. I have had one just random crash on the second chapter, but I haven't. Other than that, I haven't really noticed any like major graphical or even performance related issues. Really, the game is really running pretty smoothly all around from what I've noticed. But in the end, with this game, we can't go without speaking about the rats, and actually how well this team has made them this ultimate killing and horror machine. They really are just. When you're like surrounded by them and all you have is a little torch that will soon die, it gives you just the right amount of horror and suspense and just like terror. And they have done such a great job with like adding a really good story so far. I've only experienced a bit of it, but so far it's feeling really good. And it's got great music, and they're putting it in such a way that you walk away always feeling you've just survived and pretty happy to be alive and not eaten by rats. I definitely won't be forgetting to play through this like the first, and after finishing the first Innocence, it really made me even more want to carry on with the series, as I had enjoyed it so much. It's such an excellent game. As I haven't finished it yet, I am not sure if this is the end of their story, or will there be more to come from this series. I don't know. I hope there is more specifically from this team. It is quite nice. And when you look at the game's Metacritic, you see it's got a very sturdy 82, really. Which, you know what? After playing the first one and playing part of this, I do see that one probably being maybe a bit low. I'm not too sure. It's just, yeah, it's not for everyone. It really it definitely won't be for everyone. But I think it's such a solid game. I think it seems more of like a 9 for me, but I can understand people might give it an 8 because of this, that, yada 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 yada. I think everyone really scored in the 8s, in the 80s on Metacritic, apart from the Switch. They got 76. I think that was it. They had it as a cloud one. I never played one of those cloud games. I don't want to. But yeah, 82, and user score a little bit higher, 8.3. So yeah, it's scored over all round from the critics liked it and the users have liked it. Now, what do I do for my thumb scores? Well, for me, my game score, I think it's great, looks great, sounds great, feels great, and after finishing the first one, I'm pumped to jump in and play the second one. So the first one didn't give me burnout. It kind of made me want more because it wasn't like a terribly long game. I think I think to platinum when I had a look, it's a little bit of a longer game to platinum. So I'm definitely going to go for the platinum. But as a game score, I have to give it a full thumb up. Really, it's a really good package. Really, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm looking forward for my time with it. Really, and I'm going to get this done once I've got through this, and I think I've got one other thing I need to finish. I'm going to jump back into Requiem, and I'm going to play it through and get it done before the month's end because I'm enjoying it that much. As an offering score, well, this is a great offering. Really, this only came out in October 2022, so literally 15 months ago. Not 15 months. What's that? 12. 15 months. Yeah, about 15 months ago. So it's not that old. It's really good. Really, I have to give it another full thumb up. We've got a super really well critically acclaimed. I'm pretty sure it was nominated for multiple games of the year. I'm pretty sure. I would have to double check, but I'm pretty sure. Nominations. Yeah, I think it's got award. It's got a load of awards, and the Game of the Year award for 2022. I think it was nominated. It didn't win. Yeah, it was just nominated. So it's nominated for lots of things. So it's a very, very good offering. Really, that's only 15 months old, and if you're lucky enough to have the first one, or I advise you probably just as an all round is if you want to play it and you haven't played the first one, play the first one because I didn't think it will be too bad, but the first one does set such a nice ground narrative. So when you go and you know who these characters are, but it doesn't. It kind of does it in a way where you don't need to know in a way, but it's better for you to know because you get more of the story. But overall, my offering score is a full thumb up. It has to be. There's no other way for this. Such a great game, and can't wait to jump in and play the rest of it because it's such a horror and joy to play. But now we have played through all the games. Now we've played through them all. We have played through them all. We've given our scores. We've given our game scores. We've given our offering scores. What do we do? What do we do? What do we give? Well, let's just look at them bit by bit and then come up with a final answer. We started off with Nobody Saves the World, an action role-playing game, dungeon crawler, blah blah blah. Technically under 2 years old from its PS5 release. Really good, looks good, fun to play. Gave that a game score of 3/4 thumb up, an offering score of a 3/4 thumb up. Super solid. Can't wait to jump back in and play the rest of it. What came second? They chucked in good old Evil West, a game I thought that was a first-person shooter, but it wasn't. Even though I was slightly disappointed, that turned, and I actually enjoyed the game. Really, a game that's only been out for 13, 14 months. Super solid, super fun. Gave that a game score of 3/4 thumb up and an offering score of a 3/4 thumb up. And then to cap off the month, they chucked in a critically acclaimed A Plague's Tale Requiem, even we got the first one a couple of years back. This is 15 months old, and this is super solid, and I played through the first one, and I loved it, and I'm so frothing at the mouth to get into this. I gave that a game score of a 4 thumb up and an offering score of a 4 thumb up, so it's a double up digits for this game. Super solid. Now, overall for the month, what do we do? What do we give it? I could just go full thumbs up, but if you're kind of really doing it on the basis of like you've given this and then you're putting all them all together and you're dividing it by 3, what do? You don't get full thumbs up. But for me, considering last year was super mid and super meh, really, it wasn't great last year. This is a really great start to the year, and if we compare it, let's quickly look at Jan PS Plus. It's two. The wrong thing. PS Plus, Jan 2023. And what did we get? What did we get for 2023? 2023 was okay. We got Jedi Fallen Order, Fallout 76, and Axiom Verge 2. And this January 2024 was so much better than that. It's more solid than that, I feel like. I can't bother to go and look and find out what score I gave that one, so I'm just going to go what I say, what I feel, and I think they've given us 3 games that are all well built on the month. Start around with a good indie title, Nobody Saves the World, then add us another one which has got nice horror elements, action RPG, an action adventure game, really super fun. It is fun. As it has some issues, a little bit ropey, but all around together an enjoyable experience. And then to tap it off, we've got a critically acclaimed game that's got numerous nominations and wins under its belt. And you know what? Very well done. So I think as an overall game score, I think we've got a bunch of solid, good titles to start off the new year. So I'm going to give it a game score of a full thumb up, really. And offering, everything is under basically, let's just go from PS5 release instead of original releases, makes things easier. Everything is under 2 years old, really. It's 2 years and under, let's just put it that way. So I think that's pretty solid, really. And they're all good games. So overall, I think an offering score for the month is another full thumb up. Really, I might be going over the top, but I think offering score thumb up, and the game score and offering score are both thumbs up. It's super solid. Really enjoyed this month. Really, I can't really complain. I have been having fun with them all. Really, kind of wanting to jump back into them, but I've been trying to play some other things that I've been trying to finish off this month as well. But now I've kind of like done those, I'm going to jump back into these, really, especially A Plague's Tale, Requiem. But that's it, yeah. Overall, game score, thumb up, and overall offering score is a full thumb up for January 2024. That's a good way to start the new year, I think. Anyway, that's it for the video for this month, guys. Happy New Year and all that stuff. Hope you're ready for 2024, and hopefully we can keep this train going. Hopefully it's a much better year, much stronger year for PS Plus. Let me know in the comments, what did you think of this month? What games did you like? What games did you not like? Really, did you think I was talking out my butt? I probably am. Anyway, what do you hope for the next month? Who knows? Can they get better than this? They can get better than this. They can give us a better package. But this is a good package, I feel like. So anyway, please like and subscribe to the channel. That would be excellent. And until next time, guys, look after yourselves, stay safe, and play some games. Alright, ciao, bye.